This is probably gonna make a lot of y'all feel some type of way, but it has to be said. Not all mother wounds are generational. Some of y'all just got raggedy mamas. Hey y'all, hey. So listen, I promise I don't say that to be shady or to hurt your feelings or to disrespect your mama. I say that because I don't want you to jump on this generational curse bandwagon and start calling yourself a generational curse breaker if that's not what you're looking at. Because some women became mamas too early or too late or had kids with the wrong man. And now the fact that he was raggedy makes them hate having had kids with him. And in some cases, they even hate the kids that they had. When I say my mother wound is generational, what I mean is that I can see the similarities between the way my mom treated and interacted with me and the way my grandmother treated and interacted with her. Now, I only saw it once, and it literally was just a glimpse. And in that moment, I didn't even think nothing about it. It wasn't until I was on my own Unloved Daughter healing journey that Holy Spirit brought that memory back to me and made it all make sense. Because up to that point, you couldn't tell me that me and my mom were just different because of how much like my dad I've always been, and that basically I was just a bad daughter. You also couldn't tell me that my grandmother had it in her to be emotionally violent, which is to say she sat there and gave my mama the silent treatment like a champ. Okay, like somebody was handing out Oscars or something. Now, I never seen anything like it. I never saw it before in her, and I would never see it again. And it literally was all I needed to understand, that this thing between me and my mom was a lot deeper than just me and my mom. Generational patterns and curses can look like having babies out of wedlock and never getting married to the father or never getting married at all. It can look like having kids with the wrong man or intentionally having kids to try and keep a man. It can also look like learned behavior of physical, emotional, spiritual, or financial abuse masked as discipline and correction, showing up in the lives of generation after generation in your family, whether you see it or not, whether you notice it outright or not. Abortion and adoption can show up as a generational pattern because you can have a generation of women who use abortion as a means of birth control. And while you may not do that, you may have unexpectedly received the familiar spirit of abortion that won't allow you to finish anything you start. The things that you feel so passionately about, somehow you manage to do all the research and all the legwork and all the foundational work, but nothing ever seems to come to fruition. And despite your best reasons why, deep down you really don't know why you don't finish anything that you start. Same with adoption, where you could have been given up for a better life, you still could have received a familiar spirit of abandonment. So even if you hated having been put up for adoption, you find yourself emotionally unavailable and unattached to the very kids that you've had. And again, you have no idea why you're like this when you love them more than your own life. But it's not you, it's a spirit. It is a limitation on your life set in place by the enemy to destroy the destiny of every generation of your family until someone finally stands up and works to repair the breach. If you find that despite your deepest desires and your best efforts to not be like your mom and not treat your kids the way you were treated when you were a child, and not just, you're not going to be as strict on bedtimes, they don't have to eat all the food on their plate, or you're not going to be as controlling with who they can be friends with. I'm talking about things like telling yourself you won't gaslight your kids like was done to you, and then you do. Telling yourself you won't use the silent treatment on your kids like was done to you, and then you do. You tell yourself that you're going to trust them and not invade their privacy and share your findings with other family members as a means of shaming them into compliance, and then you do. Because some of that was me. And I am not ashamed to say that I found myself doing to my kids a lot of the same things that were done to me, and having to work through my own mother wounds to be able to get to a place of not only not being the same thing that hurt me, but learning how to be the mom my kids need individually. So if you're wondering if your mother wound is also a generational curse, for starters, ask yourself if you see a pattern pattern of behavior in the way your mom treats you and the way your grandma treats or treated or mistreated her? Or if your mom happens to be the golden child, do you see or did you see your grandma treating your aunts and uncles in the same harsh way that your mom treats you, that you may be treating your kids? And I don't want this video to drag on because there are lots of things that could have happened to you specifically or that you saw in your own family that can tell you if you could be an unloved daughter and if your unloved daughter mother wound situation is generational. So if you're not sure and you want a better understanding, click the link in the description box to get a free copy of my Am I an Unloved Daughter Mother Wounds Freebie Friday bundle. And I don't usually say subscribe, and I probably should, but I feel like if you're supposed to be here, you'll be here. And if you like my content, I don't have to tell you to subscribe because you're going to do that anyway. But this time, I'm encouraging you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be able to tune in next week for part 2 of how and why the mother wound is a generational curse. Until next time, y'all stay blessed.